2026 is shaping up to be a real celebration for fans of pixel art. Indie developers around the world are once again proving that magic isn't about graphics, it's about atmosphere. It's that feeling when you lose yourself in a small world where every frame breathes love and meaning. In this video, we'll dive into the brightest and most anticipated pixel projects of the year, from noir metroidvanias and apocalyptic sandboxes to fantasy RPGs and philosophical horrors. Let's start with Nocturne. This is an atmospheric pixel RPG with rhythm-based gameplay. The story takes place in a digital afterlife. Humanity has long been extinct, but virtual reality still exists under the rule of AI. The main character is a newly formed digital consciousness that suddenly appears in this dark world filled with distorted beings and spreading corruption. The game combines classic role-playing mechanics with musical action. Combat revolves around rhythm, requiring you to strike in sync with the music, similar to Guitar Hero. Players can expect 8 chapters of story-driven adventure, boss battles, and an amazing soundtrack. Mad King Redemption, a retro-styled beat-em-up with roguelite elements. The game takes place in a dark fantasy world where a Mad King, in his attempt to resurrect the Queen through forbidden magic, loses his sanity and plunges the kingdom into chaos. You lead a brotherhood of fallen heroes seeking redemption, determined to overthrow the insane monarch and turn his own dark magic against him. Gameplay-wise, it's a classic arcade beat-em-up in the spirit of the golden age of coin-op machines, but with modern pixel art. Expect dynamic battles against hordes of enemies as you carve your way through them with fists and blades. What makes it unique is its roguelite structure. Every run is different, filled with random events and unpredictable challenges. Wall World 2, the sequel to the pixel roguelite action game with tower defense elements. The developers promise an even more ambitious adventure. The mysterious endless wall has become larger, darker, and more dangerous than ever. You control an armored spider mech, drilling into the wall to extract resources while defending yourself from waves of monsters using turrets. Threats lurk both on the surface and deep underground. Each expedition turns into a unique trial. The procedurally generated tunnels hide strange anomalies that can either help or sabotage your survival. You must constantly balance between exploration and defense. The sequel expands character and equipment progression. Between runs, the hero now rests in a new city hub called the Sphere, where you can meet colorful NPCs and prepare for the next expedition. Discovered blueprints and materials allow you to upgrade both your exosuit and the spider itself. The world feels richer and more alive than ever. Mariachi Legends, a pixel metroidvania inspired by Mexican folklore and the spirit of Dia de los Muertos. The game blends the style of retro action titles like Castlevania with a touch of mystical noir. Expect fast-paced combat, acrobatic combos, and gritty street shootouts. You'll explore dark city streets, fighting both criminal gangs and ancient spirits. The combat system demands reflexes and precision. As the adventure unfolds, the hero unlocks new abilities and discovers magical artifacts. Revelation of Decay. Wolfie Cat Studio offers not just survival, but a true open-world zombie apocalypse adventure, featuring 8 massive regions, hundreds of items and abilities, the ability to build your own army of survivors, and even enslave zombies to work for you. Gameplay combines RPG, action, and base-building elements. You'll storm military bunkers, wander frozen wastelands, scavenge for resources, and fight off hordes of mutants. But the best part, you're not alone. 2-player co-op lets you save the world with a friend, turning every raid into pure chaotic fun. Kingdom of Night, an isometric action RPG with the spirit of the 80s, where Diablo meets Stranger Things. In a quiet suburban town, a satanic cult accidentally awakens an ancient demon, and now darkness floods the streets. You play as an ordinary teenager who loses everything in a single night and must become a demon hunter. His goal, to save his first love and the entire town. The world is open and full of secrets. You decide where to start cleansing the city of demons. Choose your class, from barbarian to necromancer, and create a unique hero by developing dozens of skills and combining abilities. The game's atmosphere is its biggest strength, a retro nightmare in pixels, soaked in nostalgia and the thrill of real adventure. Prophecy of Ashen, a dark fantasy RPG with tactical combat and the spirit of old-school role-playing, where text, choice, and morality carry real weight. The kingdom is torn apart by rebellion and fanaticism. The people rise against the church order, while ominous shadows gather in the sky. You are the king's envoy, a man standing between faith, power, and revolution. The game focuses on meaningful choices. Every word in dialogue, every betrayal or act of mercy opens new paths and endings. Tactical turn-based battles require careful planning, and the pixel art aesthetic gives the game that unmistakable classic feel. Delverium, a cooperative sandbox where you can do literally everything. The world is procedurally generated, so no two adventures are ever the same. Behind every hill might lie ancient ruins, strange anomalies, or vast dungeons filled with monsters and treasure. The game supports up to 4 players. You can survive alone or team up with friends to build settlements, fortify your base, and defend it from threats. It's a mix of survival, exploration, and creative co-op gameplay, a world where everyone forges their own path. The Good Old Days, a side-scrolling metroidvania set in the late 80s, in a small provincial town where young Sean tries to save his friends and pay off the debt left by his missing father. You only have one day to do it. The world is open for exploration. You can earn money any way you want, by taking on challenges, hunting for hidden stashes, gambling in the lottery, or taking dangerous deals. As you progress, you free Sean's friends, each becoming a new playable character with their own story and abilities. Every choice brings you closer to or further from the ending, and every playthrough is unique. Philna Fantasy, a classic old-school pixel RPG with a modern scale. You can spend hours wandering through lush valleys, battling monsters in dungeons, brewing potions, forging weapons, and hunting for rare artifacts. You play as a traveler from another planet who accidentally ends up in this world. Your task is to uncover a grand conspiracy, regain your lost memories, and become the hero legends will sing about. Philna Fantasy stands out for its deep mechanics, dozens of professions, hundreds of skills, alchemy, blacksmithing, gem crafting, and artifact enchantment. Every dungeon is both a challenge and a treasure trove. You can dismantle loot at the forge, socket gems, craft enchantment scrolls, and upgrade your gear to legendary status. Skinwalker, a pixel horror about the monster that lives inside a man. The story follows a brilliant scientist who makes a deal with an ancient creature to save his dying daughter. Now, he can transform into an invincible beast, but each transformation erases the line between love and madness. In his human form, he explores an abandoned research facility, searching for medicine and answers. But when he changes, he becomes a predator, tearing enemies apart. This duality is at the core of the gameplay. With every kill, you lose a piece of your humanity, and the ending depends on how much of it you manage to keep. The Ember Guardian, an atmospheric blend of post-apocalyptic daytime strategy management and nighttime tower defense combat, brought to life in vibrant pixel art. During the day, you manage your camp, build defenses, recruit fire-based creatures, explore ruins, and gather resources. At night, the real battle begins. Waves of monsters attack your base, and you take control of the Ember Guardian in twin-stick shooter mode. Every successful night unlocks upgrades to weapons, structures, and abilities, slowly turning your camp into an impenetrable stronghold. Grave Seasons, an unusual mix of cozy farming sim and dark supernatural thriller. You're a runaway criminal starting a new life in an idyllic small town. By day, you farm the land, grow crops, gather resources, and socialize with the locals. But once the sun sets, the tone shifts. Now you're hunting a supernatural serial killer. You'll collect clues, help townsfolk, craft protective gear, and make life or death choices that shape the fate of the characters around you. Vampire Rancher, an unusual farming sim with a dark Wild West vibe. By day, you restore a rundown farm, shopfronts, and saloon in a remote town. By night, you become a vampire hunting for blood. Managing time and resources is key. You need to make the town appealing to humans. They're your blood supply. With simple controls and a quirky mix of cozy sim and gothic atmosphere, the game stands out. Skills like bat transformation and sunlight resistance keep things fresh, while you expand your town, develop your powers, and explore ancient ruins with a Western twist. Scavland, a survival action game in pixel art style, clearly inspired by the Ukrainian game Stalker. It's an isometric top-down shooter focused on exploration, resource gathering, contract missions, and intense fights over gear and vehicles. Set in an open world with procedurally generated ruin zones, the game channels the spirit of Fallout and Stalker. You'll find RPG elements, survival mechanics, and a heavy atmosphere of danger and discovery as you navigate through the wasteland. Streets of Rogue 2. The sequel to the cult pixel art roguelike delivers an even more chaotic and generative experience. A procedurally generated metropolis filled with possibilities, from hacking systems and blasting into buildings to recruiting allies. Players can choose from dozens of character classes, each with unique abilities. The game also features 4-player co-op. You can build a house, start a gang, create chaos, or restore order solo or with friends. Streets of Rogue 2 turns every session into a wild story, full of twists, absurd encounters, and endless room for experimentation. Neverway, a new pixel art RPG adventure blending horror with coffee sim mechanics. You play as Fiona, who moves to a secluded farm to start over, only to become bound to a dead god and forced to fight off emerging nightmares. The game offers a deep mix of mechanics: farming, fishing, crafting, upgrades, nighttime forest exploration, and investigation of a mysterious zone filled with haunting secrets. You'll build relationships with the island's inhabitants, unlock abilities through social bonds, and manage your resources as you work to repay the god for your immortality. Terminator and Oh Fate, a pixel art side-scroller inspired by the iconic Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Play as Sarah Connor, John Connor, or the T-800 as you relive key moments from the film and take on new missions, including the future war with multiple possible endings. The game features richly detailed 16-bit visuals, a licensed soundtrack, and the full cast of characters, minus Arnold Schwarzenegger's likeness. It's a retro-style tribute packed with action, nostalgia, and a fresh take on a legendary story. Welcome to Elderfield, a cozy pixel RPG with life sim elements, hiding mystery and the supernatural beneath its warm atmosphere. You arrive in a small town and take on familiar tasks: farming, fishing, cooking, nature watching, and chatting with charming locals. But soon, strange things begin to happen, revealing that Elderfield is more than it seems. Sunny mornings turn into uneasy nights, and casual conversations give way to eerie encounters. The game blends slice-of-life simulation with adventure RPG, letting you build relationships, develop your land, and dive into a story rooted in myths and folklore. Downhill, an atmospheric journey through a strange world where day never ends and humans coexist with spirits. You're not just the player, you've struck a deal to guide a protagonist named Fade. But Fade is her own person with opinions, boundaries, and the will to push back against your choices. Your relationship with her is the heart of the story, and your bond shapes not just the narrative, but the game's ending. You can choose to protect or destroy, unlocking different skill paths. Fade's journey moves between two realities where time stands still and logic bends to magic. Expect puzzles, battles against time-frozen foes, unsettling immortality, and encounters with spirits who blur the line between ally and threat. Goodbye, Seoul. In this game, an asteroid is on a collision course with Seoul. With only 6 months left until impact, the city transforms into a dangerous, nearly abandoned zone. The main character ventures into the ruined city to uncover the truth about a secret space evacuation program. This is an atmospheric puzzle platformer with stealth and survival elements. A city created in a unique 2.5-dimensional pixel art style is full of traps, wreckage, hostile factions, and eerie abandoned places. You'll need to use your surroundings to avoid direct conflict, solve clever puzzles, and move the story forward. Witchbrook. A charming blend of fantasy life sim and adventure, Witchbrook is inspired by classics like Stardew Valley. You play as a student at a magical academy, attending classes, learning spells, and building friendships and romantic connections with townsfolk. As you grow in magical skill through minigames, quests, and seasonal festivals, the world expands. You can grow magical plants, take part in spellcasting competitions, and unlock new areas around town. The game features RPG-like progression, allowing you to level up skills and unlock new spells and alchemy recipes. In Zwaard, you're dropped into a post-apocalyptic world where rogue technology has infected every living thing. You'll explore a vast open landscape, battling mutated creatures with a sword you can fully customize. Scavenge for components from the remnants of civilization to modify your weapon, from heavy, brutal blades to swift, precise ones. Every upgrade changes how your sword behaves in combat. The game blends intense battles, atmospheric exploration, and uncovering the mystery behind the downfall of humanity. Holstin, Poland, late 1992. Something unnatural is infecting the remote town of Giziorn Colony. Slime creeps through the streets, buildings rot from within, and the last remaining residents are slowly losing their minds. You arrive to find your missing friend, who vanished after entering the town. Holstin is an atmospheric survival horror with a unique isometric perspective. Hand-drawn pixel art blends with modern 3D camera angles and dynamic lighting, letting you view environments from 8 fixed positions. Explore crumbling buildings, scavenge for weapons and supplies, and interact with increasingly unstable locals. Sometimes their madness is the only clue you'll get. In Super Zoo Story, you inherit a rundown zoo on a remote island, and it's your job to bring it back to life. Build habitats, care for over 70 species of animals, including dinosaurs, and turn your zoo into a thriving attraction. Every animal is unique, with specific needs, behaviors, and environmental preferences. You'll feed, heal, entertain, and even splice DNA to create new species. The island is also home to over 40 NPCs, each with their own routines. Befriend them, build relationships, or even start a family. Back in Time is a pixel art action-adventure where you bend time itself. As a temporal agent, you travel between pivotal moments in history to prevent disasters and rewrite fate.
Get over here, motherfucker! I think you do. You don't time with time!
Expect tense combat, clever puzzles based on time manipulation, and distorted versions of real historical settings. Unlock powerful abilities like time slowing, rewinding, creating temporal clones, and rewriting past events to affect the present. Each mission blends action, logic, and storytelling across radically different timelines. Threads of Time. This is a time-traveling RPG that spans countless eras, from prehistoric jungles filled with dinosaurs to a distant cybernetic future.
Don't someone mess with time! You don't with time!
But it's not just about time hopping. It's a story of intertwined destinies. You'll build a team of heroes from across history to fix a timeline that's spiraling out of control. Combat is turn-based and tactically deep, emphasizing synergy over brute force. Chain abilities unleash devastating combos and use time-based mechanics to shift the tide of battle in your favor. Octopath Traveler 0. This is a prologue set in Orstera, familiar to fans of the series. For the first time, you create your own hero, choosing appearance, voice, favorite food, and starting skills, all while diving into a unique epic of your own. After the destruction of your village, you must rebuild a community of more than 30 characters, while battling with a party of up to 8 heroes. Step by step, you restore your dream, building homes, inviting new residents, and shaping your own corner of the world. Despite all the innovations, the game preserves its signature style, pixel artistry blended with realistic depth and effects, while the turn-based battle system has become even more refined and strategic. Forge of the Fae. Step into a fantasy world inspired by Celtic legends and 19th century steampunk. You play as Fiora, an inventor investigating mysterious disappearances amid a rising conflict between humans and the Fae. Your fate becomes entwined with ancient crystals that grant magical powers, changing not only battles but the course of the story itself. Your decisions shape how this tale unfolds. Combat is a classic turn-based JRPG enhanced with modern depth. Arc crystals and the adrenaline system let you weave together flexible spell and ability combos, making strategic planning more important than button mashing. Along the way, you'll encounter intricate puzzles, hidden secrets, and a wide cast of characters, while the world itself shifts with time of day and weather. Emberville, a pixel adventure simulator with RPG, building, and survival elements, where your goal is to help the townsfolk of a ruined city rebuild their home. You awaken in a dark prison with a mysterious companion, a glowing creature that holds fragments of your memory. Together, you venture into procedurally generated dungeons to gather resources, fight enemies, and rescue villagers in order to restore the town. Gameplay blends survival, crafting, exploration, and role-playing systems, melee and ranged combat, skill progression, base building, cooking, and farming. The project is supported by active developer feedback, with plans for early access, no microtransactions, and a fair price, all designed to make players part of the game's evolution. Regions of Ruin 2, an adventure set in a meticulously crafted world, where your goal is to restore a home for your people. You venture across vast lands filled with rich resources, dangerous wildlife, and crystal-lit caves. Along the way, you'll encounter allies, lend them your aid, and gradually build a new refuge step by step. Players are free to shape their hero, from appearance to combat style, with choices in weapons, gear, and skill trees. This isn't just a sequel, but an evolution of the original, with more flexible gameplay, a larger world, and a deeper progression system. Alabaster Dawn. From the creators of Crosscode, this game promises to be a unique action RPG with puzzle elements and a dynamic combat system. The game is set in a world touched by a curse, where the protagonist must revive civilization. Players can wield various weapons and elements. As with Crosscode, the developers continue to focus on challenging puzzles and exploring an ever-changing world. As the story progresses, the environment and cities will evolve, opening new opportunities for interaction and progression. Arisen Force Vonimir. This is an exciting action RPG where players dive into a fantasy world created with stunning HD pixel art. The game combines dynamic battles with an engaging story of heroes striving to uncover the world's secrets and create their own legend. One of the key features is the freedom to choose your combat style. Players can mix weapons and skills, for example, being a mage with a giant sword or a hunter holding the front line. Exploring the world ranges from small villages to majestic castles and deserts filled with secrets and dangers. Players can also engage in various activities, from trading to blacksmithing and tavern management. Ada, Tainted Soil. This promises to be an exciting action-adventure RPG. The story centers on a young girl named Ada, who, while exploring ruins, stumbles upon a magical substance. This artifact grants her powers but also throws the world into chaos. Now she must use her abilities to save her family. Key features include a well-thought-out combat system that allows players to combine weapons, magic, and skills. The game offers an open world with character customization options, enabling unique development of Ada's abilities. Rubinite. This game emphasizes a unique mechanic called focus, which allows players to pinpoint enemies' weak spots and deal precise, deadly blows. Another standout feature is the need to find and attack blood crystals to defeat enemies. You'll venture into a dark but visually stunning world of dark fantasy, presented in detailed pixel art. Each boss presents a unique challenge, and the crafting mechanics for talismans and absorbing enemy powers allow the heroine to adapt her abilities for different battles. SacriFire, a game in the spirit of classic JRPGs from the 90s, but with modern elements. The main character must protect an underground city from demons. Players will explore dungeons and solve puzzles. A distinctive feature of the game is its hybrid combat system, combining turn-based and real-time elements, allowing players to mix attacks and master different fighting styles. Visually, the game impresses with detailed pixel art and dynamic combat. Romestead, a survival crafter set in a fantasy version of the Roman Empire, which has fallen to a zombie outbreak. You play as survivors trying to build and grow a settlement while fending off waves of the undead and hunting mythical creatures. The developers promise 6 diverse biomes, including plains, forests, swamps, deserts, volcanic zones, and an abandoned megacity. Players can recruit other survivors, assign them roles, and manage their well-being. You'll also interact with the Roman pantheon by offering sacrifices to the gods in exchange for blessings. The game supports co-op multiplayer. Pixel art isn't a genre, it's a language. You can tell any story with it, a tragedy, a comedy, an epic, or a memory. And maybe that's why these stories so often hit harder than the most expensive blockbusters. The Image Game Channel was with you. Have a nice day.